I died on the street, curled up like a stray dog in the biting Chicago winter. Meanwhile, my girlfriend was burning through my life savings, vacationing in Europe with her high school sweetheart. I hated it. I hated myself for buying into her garbage about how controlling the finances gives me security. Fortunately, fate gave me a do-over. Babe, from now on, how about you hand your paycheck over to me? In the dim, ambient light of the high-end steakhouse, my girlfriend, Jessica Miller, looked at me with eyes full of expectant shimmer. It was the exact same scene from my past life. I offered a faint smile and placed a single quarter into her outstretched palm. Then, while she stared in confusion, I slowly pulled out the platinum debit card, the one holding $80,000, and right in front of everyone, snapped it in half. Here, I whispered, watching the color drain from her face. Severance pay. The sharp snap echoed. The restaurant fell into a dead silence. Jessica's hand froze in midair. Her face, carefully contoured and highlighted, shifted from anticipation to shock, and finally twisted into disbelief. "Caleb, are you insane?" she shrieked. Diners at nearby tables turned to stare. I ignored them, methodically dropping the 2 pieces of plastic into the ashtray. Staring at the broken shards, I felt a rush of euphoria I hadn't felt in years. In my last life, the 80 grand in that account became the capital for her and that freeloader, Ryan Brooks, to live like royalty. Meanwhile, I died freezing under an overpass on I-90. The phantom pain of that cold still lingered in my bones. I looked up at the woman I once treated like a prize. I'm not crazy. I pulled out a napkin and wiped my fingers. I just realized that my money is safer in my own pocket. Jessica's expression collapsed instantly. The tears came on command. She switched to victim mode in a split second. "Caleb, what does that mean? You don't trust me?" She pressed a hand to her chest, looking like she might faint. "We're about to get married, and you're guarding against me? Did someone say something to you? You were never like this." If this were the old me, I would have panicked, begged for forgiveness, and handed over my soul. But now, I just felt nauseous. A rolling, visceral disgust. Trust. I leaned back in a leather chair, staring her down coldly. "Jessica, is your definition of trust taking my blood and sweat money to fill someone else's bottomless pit?" Jessica's face went pale. Her eyes darted around, panicked. But she was a pro. Her psychological defense was strong. "What are you talking about? I scrimp and save for our future. I don't even buy decent clothes for myself. And you think this of me? It's heartbreaking." She grabbed her water glass and slammed it down. Water splashed onto the white tablecloth. "If you didn't want to give it, just say so. Why humiliate me like this? I'm calling off the wedding." This was her nuclear option. Before, whenever she threatened to break up, I was like a chicken with its neck caught. I'd surrender immediately. I looked at her calculating face and stood up. "Okay, one word." It landed lightly, yet hit like a hammer. Jessica froze. She even forgot to keep crying. Her mouth hung open like a fish gasping for air. I pulled out my phone and tapped the bill on the table terminal. "Dinner's on me. Consider it a breakup meal. Eat slowly, don't choke." With that, I turned and walked away. No hositashchen. Behind me, I heard Jessica's enraged scream and the sound of silverware clattering to the floor. I smirked coldly. "Jessica, this is just the beginning. Every cent you swallowed, you're going to cough up with interest." Back at the apartment, I started packing. I leased this place. I paid the rent. But it was filled with Jessica's traces. The decor she bought for our home was mostly overpriced junk. The things of actual value had long been secretly sold off by her to buy designer gear for Ryan. 30 minutes later, the front door violently rattled. Jessica stormed in. Her mascara was running, hair messy, eyes red and swollen. She was genuinely panicked this time. I had never said the word breakup with such finality. "Caleb Stone, you bastard." She threw her purse on the sofa and lunged to grab my arm. I sidestepped. She grabbed empty air and nearly face-planted. "You're dodging me? You seriously dodged me?" Jessica screamed in disbelief. "Keep your hands to yourself." I sat in the armchair, opened my laptop, and didn't spare her a glance. "Use your words." Jessica bit her lip, big tears rolling down. Knowing aggression wouldn't work, she switched to softness. "Caleb, I know I shouldn't have lost my temper, but I love you so much. I care about you. That's why I wanted to manage the finances. I just wanted to buy us a house sooner. How can you throw me away over something so small? Are we going to ruin 3 years of a relationship over a bank card?" She wept beautifully, looking fragile and pitiful. She had mastered the art of emotional blackmail. If it were the past, I would have melted. But now I only saw a viper bearing its fangs. 3 years of a relationship? I stopped typing and looked up. "Since you brought up the relationship, let's settle the accounts." Last month, you took 3 grand from me, claiming it was to buy your mom a therapeutic adjustable bed. Jessica's eyes flickered. She couldn't meet my gaze. Why, yeah, I bought it. Mom loves it. Receipt. I extended my hand. What? She froze. For a $3,000 item, there's a receipt, right? Warranty card. I pressed, my voice calm. My back's been hurting. I was thinking of getting the same model. Jessica's face flushed red. What do you mean? You think I embezzled it? The receipt. Mom lost it. Are you interrogating a prisoner? She turned angry to cover her shame, her voice rising an octave. That 3 grand? I knew where it went. That day, Ryan had posted a picture of limited edition sneakers on Instagram with a caption, "Some people just get me." Price tag, exactly $2,950 plus tax. I let out a cold laugh. Lost it? No problem. The store has digital records. I'll visit your mom tomorrow and help her find the invoice. Jessica panicked. Her mom had never seen a therapeutic bed. If I went there, the lie would pop instantly. Don't go, she shrieked, blocking my path. Realizing she was overreacting, she quickly backpedaled. Mom's not feeling well lately. She doesn't want visitors. Caleb, do you have to be so petty? It's just 3 grand. I'll pay you back later, okay? I looked at her like I was watching a clown. Okay. I closed the laptop. Pay me back now. And the 8 grand you took for investing and the 5 grand for your brother's tuition. Total is $16,000. Venmo, Zelle, or wire transfer. Now, Jessica's eyes widened as if she was meeting me for the first time. Are you crazy? Where am I supposed to get that kind of money? You don't have it. I stood up, towering over her. Then shut up. From today on, expenses in this house are 50/50. And don't even think about touching another cent of mine. I turned, walked into the bedroom, and locked the door. Outside, Jessica kicked the door hard. Her vicious cursing filtered through the wood. Caleb Stone, you're going to regret this. I lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Regret? My only regret was not seeing her true face sooner in my last life. My phone buzzed. A text from Jessica. A photo of a small scratch on her wrist. Caption: If you don't forgive me, I'll die right here. Expressionless. I typed back 4 words, don't stay in the hardwood. Then I silenced the phone. That night, I slept more soundly than I had in years. The next morning, the dining table was full. Pancakes, eggs, bacon, my favorites. Jessica was wearing a silk robe, acting busy in the kitchen. Seeing me, she plastered a fawning smile on her face. Morning, honey. Eat while it's hot. It was as if yesterday never happened. Her ability to change masks deserved an Academy Award. I didn't pick up a fork, just watch her perform. Caleb, I thought about it all night. Yesterday was my fault. I shouldn't have yelled, and I shouldn't have lied. The bed. I actually broke it by accident and was too scared to tell you. But I swear, the money was spent on the family. She bent down, deliberately brushing against my arm. Her warm breath hit my ear. Don't be mad, okay? Tonight, I'll wear that outfit you bought me. Her voice was sugary, dripping with suggestion. In my past life, for this level of affection, I would have plucked the stars from the sky for her. But now all I smelled was her nauseating perfume, the exact same cheap car air freshener scent from Ryan's car. No need. I pushed her hand away. I'm not hungry. Jessica's smile froze, a glint of resentment flashing in her eyes before she hit it. Caleb, actually, she stammered, looking hesitant. Here it comes. I smiled internally. This was the main event. What? I asked, feigning casual interest. Jessica gritted her teeth, her eyes instantly rimming with red. My cousin. You know, my cousin on my dad's side? He started a business with some partners and got scammed. Now they're suing him. If he doesn't pay up, he's going to jail. She grabbed my sleeve, tears flowing on cue. Caleb, please save him. It's just $15,000. 15 grand to save a life. I know you don't trust me right now, but this is literally life and death. All right, you and I owe you. I'll work like a dog to pay you back. I remembered this script. In my previous life, it was the exact same excuse. I transferred the 15 grand without a second thought. The result? That money became the down payment for Ryan's new motorcycle. That night, they rode to the lakefront to watch the stars while I pulled an all-nighter at the office to cover the hole in my savings. Looking at her tear-streaked face, the hatred in my heart grew like wild weeds. But I held back. Exposing her now would be letting her off too easy. I wanted her to climb higher, so she would fall harder. 15 grand. I frowned, pretending to hesitate. That's not a small amount. Seeing me waver, Jessica's eyes lit up. I know. I really know. But they need it today. Caleb, you're the most capable man I know. You surely have a way, right? He's my flesh and blood. I paused for a moment, then sighed. All right, Jessica was ecstatic, nearly jumping up. I knew you were the best. Caleb, I love you. She pulled out her phone, opening her banking app. Send it to me. I'll forward it to him right now. I put a hand over hers. Hold on. Her smile stiffened. WH, what is it? I looked her in the eyes and spoke slowly. 15,000 isn't grocery money. I want to meet this cousin. I'll give him the cashier's check personally, and we're signing a formal loan agreement. Jessica's face changed dramatically. No, that's not necessary, right? He's hiding from debt collectors. He's scared to see people. And we're family. Signing a contract hurts the relationship. I smiled, but the smile didn't reach my eyes. Jess, you said it yourself. It's life-saving money. If it's to save a life, what's so hard about meeting up? Unless. I narrow my eyes, leaning in. There is no cousin. Jessica took a step back, intimidated by my gaze. Sweat broke out on her forehead. There is. Of course there is. Great. I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door. Tonight, 7:00 p.m. The Italian place downtown. Bring your cousin. Bring the IOU. If he doesn't show, the deal is off. At the door, I glanced back. Remember, I won't wait past 7. The moment the door clicked shut, I heard something shatter inside. Good. Jessica, go find your cousin. The man who treats you like an ATM, just like you treat me. I can't wait to put on a show for you two tonight. At 6 p.m., I arrived at the restaurant early. I wasn't alone. I brought my best friend, Mike Tank Kowalski. Tank was a loud guy who hated liars and freeloaders. In my last life, he tried to warn me about Jessica 1,000 times. I not only ignored him, but cut ties with him to defend her. This time, I wanted him to have a front row seat to the destruction of these two grifters. Caleb, what's the play here? Tank looked suspicious. You said that vampire Jessica wants money again, and you're buying them dinner? Did water get into your brain again? I poured him some water and smiled. Relax. Today, the water is boiling, and it's for scalding pigs. Tank paused, then grinned wide. All right, I knew you'd wake up eventually. To lower Jessica's guard, I Venmo'd her $500. Note, thanks for breakfast. Buy a new dress so you look nice tonight. This was bait. You have to spend a little to catch the wolf. Sure enough, within a minute, she replied with 3 heart emojis. Hubby is the best. We'll be there soon. She thought I had reverted to being her easy-to-manipulate lapdog. She thought I was already hooked. Little did she know, this was just the appetizer before the execution. 7 p.m. sharp. Jessica walked into the booth, arm in arm with a man. He was wearing trendy streetwear, hair slicked back with too much gel. He looked the part of a cool guy. It was Ryan Brooks, my rival, and the scammed cousin Jessica invented. Seeing another person in the booth, Jessica froze. Caleb, this is... I stood up, smiling. This is my childhood friend, Tank. He's a legal consultant. Hearing about your cousin's trouble, I asked him to come along to review the paperwork. Since 15 grand is a lot, we need a professional. Ryan's face went rigid. His eyes darted around, terrified of making eye contact with Tank. This isn't necessary, is it? Ryan laughed dryly, his voice weak. We're all family. A quick signature is fine. Bang. Tank slammed his car keys on the table. The noise made Ryan jump. That won't work. Tank was blunt, and his acting was terrifyingly genuine. You got scammed. You got to fight back. How can you just roll over? Come on, cuz, tell me. What's the company that scammed you? Who's the owner? You bring the contracts? I know people in the legal system. I can run a background check in 5 minutes. Ryan was sweating bullets. He stammered, unable to form a coherent sentence. It was a friend. Don't want to make a big scene. Private deal. No contract. Jessica jumped in to save him. Oh, Tank, stop grilling him. My cousin's timid. Getting the debt paid is the priority. Otherwise, they're going to come hurt him. She kicked me under the table while speaking, giving me desperate looks. Give the money already. I swirl my red wine, watching these two terrible actors like ants on a hot pan. Cousin, I spoke suddenly. My voice wasn't loud, but it silenced the table. You said your business failed. So why did I hear that you just picked up a Kawasaki H2 last week? The down payment was exactly $15,000, wasn't it? Ryan's fork clattered onto his plate, then bounced to the floor. The air solidified. Only the hum of the HVAC system remained. Ryan's face looked like he'd been slapped, flushing red, then turning white. He scrambled to pick up the fork, trying to hide his shaking hands. Jessica's smile froze on her face like cheap glue. Caleb, who told you that? That's not true. That's his friend's bike. He just borrowed it for a photo. She was still struggling. I pulled out my phone and opened a screenshot. It was from a burner account Ryan used on a motorcycle forum. Picked up the beast. Thanks to my baby for the support. In the photo, he was hugging the black and green monster, grinning like an idiot. And in the background, a hand was making a peace sign. On the wrist was the Cartier bracelet I had bought for Jessica. I turned the screen toward them. The brightness was blinding. That bracelet looks familiar. Borrowed from friend too. Jessica saw the photo and her pupils constricted. She never imagined I would find Ryan's alt account. Her lips trembled, trying to form an excuse, but nothing came out. Tank figured it out immediately. He slammed the table and stood up. Holy SHD, this isn't a cousin. This is a sugar baby. Jessica, you're using Caleb's money to keep a side piece. That shout ripped away the last fig leaf. The waiter, walking in with appetizers, froze at the door. Other diners began to point and whisper. Ryan couldn't take it anymore. Guys like him, freeloaders, cared most about their fragile egos. He exploded in shame and anger, pointing a finger at me. Caleb, are you done? If you don't want to lend it, don't. Why the background check? Jessica is dating you. She didn't sell herself to you. So what if she spends some money? If you're a man, come at me. Don't bully a woman. Gaslighting at its finest. I laughed. I actually laughed. Come at you? You think you're worthy? I slowly pulled a black voice recorder from my pocket. I had planted it in the sofa cushions back at the apartment yesterday. Right when Jessica made that phone call. I hit play. Max volume. Jessica's shrill, mocking voice echoed through the restaurant. That idiot Caleb, he believes whatever I say. I just have to cry a little, and he softens up. Scamming him for this 15 grand, plus the earlier stuff, is enough for our trip to the Maldives. Once I've drained him dry, I'll dump him and marry you. Then came Ryan's sleazy laughter. My baby is so smart, playing like a fiddle. The recording ended. The booth was dead silent. Jessica looked like a corpse, slumping into her chair. Ryan clenched his fists, veins bulging in his neck. Tank stared in disbelief, then spat on the floor. Disgusting. More disgusting than eating a fly. I pocketed the recorder and opened the calculator app on my phone. My tone was calm, like I was giving a quarterly business review. Jessica Miller. Ryan Brooks. Since the cards are on the table, let's tally the final ledger. Over the last year, excluding daily meals. Venmo transfers, 158 transactions. Credit card payoffs, 12 times. Luxury bags, cosmetics, electronics, 23 items. Plus the fake parents' medical bills, brother's tuition, and investments. Total, $34,750. My fingers tapped the screen rapidly. I held up the phone, showing the final figure. Let's round it down. $34,000. You have 1 week. Pay it back. Otherwise, I pointed at the recorder. Tank, remind them. What's the sentence for felony fraud? Tank grinned, showing his teeth like a shark. For that amount, Class 3 felony. 2 to 5 years. The food in prison is free, but you'll be sewing mailbags until your fingers bleed. Jessica finally broke. She lunged across the table to grab my phone. Caleb, you can't do this. I love you. Those were just angry words. Delete the recording. Please. I sidestepped effortlessly. She crashed onto the floor, pathetic and broken. I didn't even look down. Tank, let's go. This place is dirty. I lost my appetite. Stepping out of the restaurant, the night wind hit my face. It was cold but refreshing. I knew this was just step one. The real show was yet to come. That night, I didn't return to the home. Instead, I called a locksmith. Changed the locks. Reset the keypad. All in one go. Then I hired 2 cleaners. Wearing masks and gloves, they treated Jessica's belongings like hazardous waste. Clothes, shoes, makeup, those cheap stuffed animals. Everything went in a giant black contractor bags. 8 bags in total. All dumped in the hallway outside the apartment door. Done. I texted Jessica. Your stuff is in the hall. Pick it up before midnight or the building management trashes it. Then blocked. 30 minutes later, the hallway camera alerted my phone. Pounding on the door. Jessica's hysterical screaming followed. Caleb, open the door. You can't kick me out. This is my home. I have tenants' rights. I'll sue you. I sat on the couch, legs crossed, watching the security feed on my iPad. On screen, Jessica's makeup was ruined, looking like a banshee. Ryan stood next to her, holding a motorcycle helmet, looking menacing. Don't waste breath on him. Kick it in. Ryan was brainless. Relying on his gym muscles, he actually started donkey-kicking the door. Thud! Thud! The reinforced steel door vibrated, but held firm. I had upgraded this door specifically. His kicks were doing nothing but destroying his ankles. I pressed the intercom button. My voice projected into the hallway, slightly distorted by the speaker. Kick away. Every dent is destruction of property. The smart lock is $500. The door frame is $2,000. You've already done enough damage for a weekend in county jail. Ryan froze mid-kick. The threat of jail sobered him up. Seeing force fail, Jessica went wild. She grabbed the contractor bags and smashed them against the walls, ripping clothes out and scattering them everywhere. Caleb Stone, you heartless prick. I gave you 3 years. This is how you treat me? I'll ruin you. I'll tell everyone you're an abusive monster. She grabbed a potted plant by the door and smashed it. Crash. Dirt and ceramic shards exploded. Then my shoe rack, the umbrella stand. Anything she could lift became a weapon against the hallway walls. Ryan joined in, hyping her up. Smash it. Break it all. Let him see what happens when he messes with my woman. They trashed the hallway like rabid dogs. I watched the screen quietly, finger hovering over the record button. The red dot blinked, capturing every second of high-definition stupidity. When they finally exhausted themselves, sitting amidst the debris panting, I picked up my phone and dialed 911. Yes, emergency. I need to report a break-in in progress. Vandalism and threats of violence. I have video evidence. I poured myself a glass of wine, watching their ugly faces on the monitor. Truly, how did I ever think she was innocent and sweet? Maybe my brain had been waterlogged. Now the water was gone. Only a heart of stone remained. 10 minutes later, the police arrived. Seeing the destruction, the officer's face darkened. Who did this? Jessica and Ryan instantly deflated. Their arrogance vanished. Officer, misunderstanding. It's a domestic dispute. Jessica tried to use the lover's quarrel card. I opened the door. I handed the tablet with the video, along with the printouts of the fraudulent transfers and the audio recording, to the officer. Sorry, officer. Not a domestic dispute. We're broken up. She doesn't live here. This is attempted break-in and malicious destruction of property. The cop watched the video, then looked at the two pale faces. He waved his hand. Goofing. Watching them get shoved into the back of the cruiser, I felt only irony. This so-called true love was as fragile as wet paper in the face of the law. But this wasn't enough. I needed them to pay the real price. The kind that hurts for a lifetime. Leaving the precinct, it was already past midnight. Since the damage wasn't catastrophic, and it was a relationship issue, they were released with a court date and a bill for the cleanup and door repairs. But those few hours in holding were enough time for things to ferment. I edited the audio from the restaurant and the video of their hallway rampage. I highlighted Jessica's drain him dry comment and Ryan's freeloader admission. Then, I emailed it to the HR distribution list at Jessica's company. I posted it to the local motorcycle club's Facebook group Ryan frequented. And I sent it to the family group chat of their relatives back in their hometown. One stone, 1,000 ripples. The next day, Jessica was fired. Cause: gross misconduct reflecting poorly on the company. She cried and begged her boss, claiming she was framed. Her boss just played the audio recording. We don't employ liabilities. Ryan had it worse. The biker community hates posers. Finding out his bike was bought with scammed money from a girl's ex. He became the laughingstock. Sugar baby biker. He couldn't show his face at a meet ever again. Jobless and facing my lawsuit, the lawyer's letter demanding the $34,000 became the straw that broke the camel's back. Desperate, Jessica turned to Ryan. Ryder, sell the bike. Sell it and pay Kayla back so we can start over. In a cheap motel room, Jessica pulled Ryan's arm, begging. Ryan was already furious. Hearing this, he exploded. Sell the bike? Are you crazy? That's my baby. Why should I sell it? You borrowed the money. Your name is on the transfers, not mine. At that moment, the scumbag's true nature was revealed. Love? Future? In the face of money, it meant nothing. Jessica looked at the man in disbelief. Ryan, are you human? That money was spent on you. You said you'd take care of me forever. Ryan shoved her away. Take care of you? I can barely afford ramen. How can I feed you? If you weren't so stupid, we would have drained Caleb dry by now. Now look, no money and a criminal record. Jessica fell onto the bed. She finally saw clearly. The romance she thought she had was just a long con. Ryan, I'll kill you. She lunged like a banshee, scratching his face. Ryan backhanded her. Smack. Crisp and loud. Jessica was stunned. Get out. Don't let me see you again. Ryan slammed the door and left, leaving Jessica alone in the dingy motel, clutching her face, wailing, screaming her lungs out. But I knew she wasn't crying over losing me. She was crying over losing her meal ticket and facing massive debt. This is called karma. But it wasn't over. There was a whole family of vampires waiting for their turn. Jessica's parents showed up. These people were pieces of work. Back when we dated, they were all smiles, calling me son, while tricking me into buying appliances and paying for her brother's stuff. I thought it was filial piety. Now I see it was a pig butchering scam. They blocked the entrance to my office building, holding picket signs written in bold marker. Caleb Stone, abuser, fraud, drove EX to suicide. Standing next to them was Jessica's brother, a useless delinquent, holding a megaphone. Come look, everyone. This company employs a monster. Played with my sister's feelings, got her pregnant, and abandoned her. Now he's suing us for money. Where's the justice? It was rush hour. A crowd gathered. Colleagues whispered, pointing at me. If I were thinner-skinned, I might have paid them off just to make it stop. But I had already died once. Reputation meant nothing compared to revenge. I looked at these clowns coldly. No explanation, no arguing. I pulled out my phone. 911. Yes, I have a group trespassing and harassing employees. Public disturbance. Slander. I hung up and walked toward the signs. Jessica's mom saw me coming and immediately threw herself on the ground, rolling around. Help! He's hitting me. This murderer is beating an old woman. The acting was so bad it was nauseating. I ignored her. I turned to the crowd and held up my phone, connecting it to the large Bluetooth speaker in the lobby reception area. Everyone, since you're all watching, let's look at the facts. I played the recording. Then, I cast the itemized spreadsheet of the $34,000 theft onto the lobby's digital display screen. Every line item was shocking. Brother's iPhone, $1 $200. Mom's gold necklace, $2 000. Dad's medical bill, fake $3 000. The murmurs in the crowd shifted. From blaming me, they turned to shock and disgust. Holy crap, that's not dating. That's a charity program. That family is a bunch of parasites. They spent his money, and now they're framing him? Shameless. Jessica's brother saw the tide, turning, and charged at me to grab the phone. Shut your mouth. Turn it off. I was ready. As he lunged, I sidestepped and stuck out a foot. Thud! He face-planted, landing directly on top of his mother. Ow! My back! The old woman shrieked like a banshee. Sirens wailed. Police pushed through the crowd. Seeing the chaos, the officer frowned. You again? He recognized the family name from the previous report. Disturbing the peace, harassment. Let's go. Watching the family get shoved into the squad car, I mouthed one word at them. Deserved. This family wasn't just going to pay money. They were going to spend a few nights in holding. Now, the whole world knew what they were. Social death is sometimes worse than physical death. I won a lawsuit easily. The evidence was ironclad. Jessica's family couldn't afford a lawyer and had to accept the judgment. Garnishment orders were issued. Jessica's accounts were frozen. Her brother's motorcycle was seized and auctioned. Even her mom's gold necklace was repossessed. But it wasn't enough to cover the debt. Jessica's credit score was obliterated. She couldn't rent an apartment, couldn't get a loan, couldn't even get a decent cell phone plan. In her hometown, word spread. Everyone knew the Miller family produced a scammer daughter. No one would hire them. To escape the debt and the gossip, Jessica fled to another city. With no degree, no skills, and a ruined background check, she ended up working at a dive bar as a bottle service girl, serving drinks, tolerating groping hands. The kind of job she used to look down on with sneering disdain was now her only lifeline. A friend of mine spotted her on a business trip and sent a photo. In it, Jessica was on her knees wiping up a spilled drink, a humble, fake smile plastered on her face. The goddess, who once said, I deserve only the best, was now in the dirt. My friend texted, Does seeing this make you feel better? I looked at the photo. I felt nothing. No joy, just boredom. It is what it is, I replied. As for Ryan, he fared worse. Because of the $15,000 he owed me, plus high-interest loans he took from loan sharks, the collectors found him. In a dark alley, they broke his legs, the legs he was so proud of. He was now walking with a permanent limp. Forget riding motorcycles. Walking was a struggle. His brothers abandoned him. I heard he was now working night shift at a shady internet cafe, living on instant noodles in a cloud of smoke. Maybe in his dreams, he remembered riding that Kawasaki, feeling like a king. That was the peak of his life and the beginning of his fall. Karma is real. Months later, on a rainy late autumn night, I worked late. As I exited the office building, a thin figure huddled behind a pillar, soaking wet and shivering. Seeing me, the figure rushed out. Thud! She knelt in the puddles, hugging my legs. Caleb, I was wrong. Please forgive me. It was Jessica. In just a few months, she looked 10 years older. Her skin was rough, cheeks gone. The glamour was gone. She smelled like mildew. Caleb, I learned my lesson. It's so hard out there. Those other men are trash. Only you were good to me. Let's start over, okay? I don't want money anymore. I won't buy bags. I'll cook. I'll clean. I'll give you a family. Please take me home. She cried, snot and tears mixing on her face, looking up with desperate eyes. A drowning woman clutching at a straw. I looked down at her. No pity. Just absurdity. In my last life, I knelt like this, begging her not to leave, begging for my life savings back. What did she say then? Caleb, you look ugly right now, like a dog. Now, the roles were reversed. Jessica, my voice was calm. Some things once broken stay broken. Like that bank card. You can't tape it back together. I bent down and peeled her fingers off my pant leg one by one. I brushed off the fabric with disgust. Besides, I have high standards for hygiene. I don't recycle trash. Jessica froze. The light in her eyes died. Just then, a clear umbrella appeared over my head. Caleb, what took you so long? A bright, cheerful voice rang out. It was my new colleague, Lily. Independent, sunny kind. She linked her arm through mine, looking curiously at the woman on the ground. Who is this? Jessica looked like she'd been struck by lightning. She stared at Lily's young, vibrant face. That was the youth and happiness she had thrown away. Shame made her want to crawl into a hole. I smiled faintly, pulling Lily closer. No one, just a beggar. With that, I walked with Lily into the rain, leaving Jessica behind. I didn't look back. Behind me, Jessica's wails were drowned out by the cold Chicago rain. I heard later that Jessica had a breakdown. A real one. She started attacking men in luxury cars on the street, screaming, "Hubby!" She got arrested, then committed. Her parents eventually dragged her back to their small town, locking her in a room. The girl who desperately wanted high society rotted away in the place she tried so hard to escape. And Ryan, he got caught stealing to pay debts. Grand larceny. 5 years. By the time he gets out, the world will have left him behind. When I heard this news, I was watering plants on the balcony of my new condo. I bought it myself, only my name on the deed. The sun was warm. Lily was humming in the kitchen, the smell of pot roast filling the air. This was life. Real, warm, solid. I put down the watering can, looking at the city skyline. The hate and pain from my past life evaporated like mist in the sun. Revenge was over. I didn't feel empty. I felt light. Because revenge isn't the destination. Living well is. Living a life 1,000 times better than theirs is the loudest slap in the face I could ever give to that garbage past. 1 year later, Lily and I got married. The wedding was simple. No convoy of limos, no extravagant banquet. Just our best friends and family. Tank was my best man. He cried harder than I did during the speech. Man, you finally, made it through the storm. The crowd laughed. I held Lily's hand, looking at the diamond ring on her finger. I bought it with my bonus. Not a massive rock, but it sparkled. Caleb Stone, do you take Lily to be your wife? The officiant asked. I looked into Lily's eyes. Only me reflected there. Clean, clear. No calculation, no grief. Ido. 2 words, heavy with promise. As we exchanged rings, I suddenly thought of that bank card I snapped in half. That was the end of my previous life, and the beginning of this one. If I hadn't snapped it that day, I might still be struggling in hell. In life, you have to be ruthless sometimes. Being ruthless to toxic people is being kind to yourself. Thankfully, I woke up in time. Thankfully, I snapped that ticket to the abyss with my own hands. And in return, I got this life, full of spring warmth and blooming flowers. Story complete.